So briefly, let's go over the Leatherman signal. Yes, that is my foot. I am barefooted. That is a long story that I'll probably do on the podcast. If you don't know, I'm primarily a podcaster, alpha male podcast, gunfighter life, simple man sermons. But sometimes I make videos. I figured this would be good on a video format. This is a Leatherman signal. It is kind of unique in that it's geared towards outdoor survival. It's one of the reasons I got it. I like to spend quite a bit of time in the backcountry. And it has a really good, legit knife. Probably should switch so I can open it properly. And then, so this is a really good, legit knife. I used it quite a bit, and I really like it. And one of the things I really like about the signal is it has a sharpener. And I really like having that option, that right there on the tool, I can not only sharpen this, but many other things that I have. That's really neat. So you got that, you got a saw on this side. I'm not gonna go over everything that it has, but it has a ferro rod and a whistle, which is, again, pretty unique to the signal for survival. It's got this hammer. The hammer, I thought for sure was just kind of a gimmick. It is not. Actually, you can kind of see that there when I beat on it. I use this quite a bit, and not that I couldn't just, pick up a rock and beat something with it, but it was really convenient when I was, let's say, hammering, what I would call tent stakes, things that I picked up and made into tent stakes, and pounding them to the ground to make a shelter. I'll probably splice in a video. It was really nice to just have this clipped on my belt loop and to be able to pound stuff with it. That was pretty cool. So I thought that was a gimmick. I thought maybe this clip was going to be a gimmick, but actually came in really handy. And the clip, if you saw the beginning, I clipped that to my pants, and it's just really handy to have it there at my disposal. Obviously, it's a Leatherman. I shouldn't say obviously, they make some that don't, but it has the big pair of pliers, wire cutters. I'm not going to go over everything that this thing has. Also has a saw, which I haven't really used, but it looks like a legit good saw. Now, I modified mine a little bit. I figured if it was going to be part of my E.D.C. So for modifying your signal, tricking out your signal, a couple of things here that I did to it that you may want to consider. I'll splice in a picture, but underneath there on the back side of the clip is a fish hook and fish line covered with a piece of duct tape so it doesn't snag anything. But for obvious reasons, fish hook and fish line. But for less obvious reasons, I could use the pair of pliers and I could clip that, make it straight, use a sharpener to sharpen it, have a legit needle and some really strong thread if I, let's say, ripped my pack and I needed to put a strap back on. That's really handy. Let's move down to the bottom. Now, I added a compass, and yes, I know that will not point north when it's on the tool, but I could take it off and still use it, and I would have that little button compass as part of my E.D.C. Caveat, not all button compasses point north. You have to test them. I tested this one again before I put it on here to make sure that it still did. Obviously, it won't point north when the tool is on there. It'll point towards the metal, the ferrous metal of the tool, but it's there if I need it. Behind that is another ferro rod. I know there's a ferro rod on here, but 2 is 1, 1 is none. In case I lose this one, forget to put it back, I have that option. That's just a little toggle. And then back here, what I used probably the most on this trip, that is a little titanium container. And it's got a rubber band around it to kind of keep it in place so it doesn't swing around, make noise. But that's a titanium container. I carry those on quite a few things, and it's filled with 10. It holds about 10 iodine tablets, and that's what I've been drinking out of the creek with. So treating the water with that, it's nice to have it just clipped on my back pocket. I pull the water bottle out, I dump a tablet in there, and then I walk with it for a little bit to let it shake up, and then I'm good to go. But I have water purification right here. And out here in the Bitterroot, you're probably not finding a lot of containers, but most places where there are people, you'll probably find a container that you could use to purify water. So water purification. Also, this 550 cord is more than meets the eye. It's not just regular 550 cord. It's, I don't know the name brand, fire cord or something, but it has a wick inside there. You can probably see it. It's got a wick inside there that burns really well. I tested it out. It burns really well. So if I couldn't get a fire started with whatever was around, everything was wet, then I could use it to get the fire started with the ferro rod. And I did use this to make a fire last night. I'll probably splice that in. let's try the Leatherman signal here to get this fire going. But those are some ways you might want to consider to trick out your signal. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I usually end stuff with a tactical verse of the day. The fool says in his heart, there is no God. I don't know how you could be in all this beauty of creation and deny the Creator. Like looking at a Swiss watch and thinking, oh, that just happened by chance. It just baffles the mind. But the fool says in his heart, there is no God. I'll probably splice in some pictures of the beautiful nature from this trip. Anyway, thanks for listening and have a blessed day.